I promise you that by the end of this video, you're going to understand prepositions of movement. For example, right now, sto andando attraverso una galleria, which is through a tunnel.
That's right. Today, we're going to do prepositions of movement. Now, I had some help with this one. So maybe you know, and maybe you don't know, but I teach adults and children alike. And one of the groups of adults that I work with kindly agreed to help me with this project. There were two groups. Each group took on a different set of prepositions. One group did the prepositions of place, as we also saw in the first video that I ever did. I'll leave the link somewhere. The other group decided to do prepositions of movement, which is what we're going to focus on today. So, during the time that we had together, this group had to come up with an idea of how to include all of the prepositions of movement within a short film. They decided, and God knows why, that I should be the protagonist. Here is that film, and we will be learning the prepositions of movement along the way. Was that good? Were you enjoying that? You'll be back in a second. I'm just going to tell you about those two prepositions and also outside with the bike, as you saw me doing earlier. So here I've drawn a mouse. Where's the mouse going? Into the box. Now it's not the same as in, because if we use correre, for example, the mouse runs. Don't forget this is third person singular. The mouse runs. Lui, lei, esso, corre. So the mouse runs into the box. I hope you can see that there. So the mouse runs into the box. The thing to remember about this is that if we actually put in the box instead of into the box, it would mean that the mouse is just running around and around in circles inside the box. And that's not what we mean here. We mean he's going from outside to inside. So we use into. It's a preposition of movement. So now the mouse comes out of the box. Come here again. The important thing here is to understand that the mouse comes out the box or is coming out of the box. So we have two options here. We can put out, or even better, out of the box.
Okay, ci siamo. I brought you to one of my favorite places on the planet. This is my little spot. I've been coming here for years, for about 5 years actually, and Rovereto is this way. Trento is back that way. So, God, it's better. The hair is a mess. I say, as another cyclist goes past me, mi vergogno un po'. Here we are. I brought you to my favorite place to show you, next to this bench, prepositions of movement. When I'm in class, what I normally do is I take a chair and I show this. I'm going to do it here, and I might get a bit dirty, and I'm almost certainly going to get embarrassed. But such is life for a YouTuber, I guess. Is that what I am? Am I a YouTuber now? I don't know. I have the gear. I have my little camera using a little DJI Nano, which has been working very well. The easiest way to show you into, I think, would be for me to put you guys into my pocket. And now you came out of my pocket. So that's the opposite there. We have into and out of.
Me again. Hi. Let's explain this one. So, here I've drawn a house, and here are some birds. Where are these birds going, eh? Well, I tell you, they're going away from the house. So in Italian, how can we say that? We can say allontanarsi, but that's a verb. So it's more like via. So let's say away equals via. So then we also need the opposite. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to tell that there's a bird here, and he's coming from far. So I'll make the tail end of this arrow shorter. So I hope you can tell that he's coming toward the house, from behind or from somewhere else. And it's quite simple really if we think about it as the words toward or towards, because we can also write it with an S, so there's a cheeky S on the end there, is, in Italian, verso, towards.
So now, I'm going the opposite direction. As you can hopefully tell, with that mountain there, it's fairly obvious. I'm heading back to Trento, which means I'm going towards Trento, which means I'm going verso Trento, which means, of course, I'm going away from my little bench. So we have away, per allontanarsi, andare via, via forse è più utile per dire per andare via is to go away. And we also have per tornare, to return, verso qualcosa, towards something. So I'm going towards the studio, towards Trento. And so, of course, my bench is now far behind me. Far is lontano, behind indietro. It's all coming together, you see, it's all coming together. So these cyclists just went past me
but just to make sure that you understand past a bit better, I'm going to go past the bench. I've already done it, but I'll do it again. I'm going past. My relation to the bench is changing as I'm moving. I didn't need to alter my direction, but if I did, it would be something different, like this. You see now, if I'm using a curve like that, it then becomes something different. It becomes around the bench. So I can even use it like this. I can take you with me. And as I'm walking around the bench. So, coming to this next one, we want to use onto. Onto is obviously a preposition of movement because we're going from off something to arrive upon it. So I go onto the bench. Now I'm on the bench, but I had to go onto, and of course the opposite is to go off the bench. I jumped off the bench. But what about oltre, which often is translated as sopra? I can do it like this. I'm going over the bench. Yeah, I did jump off as well, but I went over. Oltre. A little bit ridiculous, shall we? I'll put you here, and I'll do this like an absolute idiot on YouTube. I'm going under the bench. I just want to make sure that we've got all of them nice and clear. So I'm going to run through all of them. Let's do over. I'm going over the bench. Now I'll go under. Okay. I went under the bench. Now I'll go onto the bench. Onto, and of course, off. Onto, and off. For example, right now, as I'm going across the road, you can also tell that it's different from being along. Let me go up a gear and then I can take my hand off. Okay. Along is when you're going along the longest part of a road, like I am now. So that's easy enough to explain if you're going along somewhere. Across is therefore the per attraversare, la parte più corta. If you think of a bridge is probably the easiest way to understand that. So un ponte fa attraverso il fiume, no? Look at all those sheep. E dopo noi diciamo scappo con vergogna. To escape with shame. Look, what am I doing now? I'm going through a tunnel. Ooh. That's a preposition of movement. there we have it. Those are the prepositions of movement. Thanks for sticking around. Please like, subscribe, and write a comment about what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching. Ciao for now.